When the summer sun beats down for weeks without a drop of rain, most gardens begin to look the same. Soil cracks open, plants wilt, and watering seems to do little more than temporarily mask the problem. Many gardeners respond with more hoses, more fertilizers, or expensive irrigation systems, but I discovered that long before these modern solutions existed, farmers had already perfected a technique that worked wonders. It's a method so simple yet so powerful that it not only saved my crops during a dry spell, but also transformed my soil into a living, thriving foundation for seasons to come. This isn't about sprinkling a thin layer of wood chips or straw. This is about reviving a forgotten way of layering organic matter, an old mulch method that outsmarts drought, keeps roots alive, and rebuilds the soil from the ground up. Today I want to share exactly how it works, why it's so effective, and how you can start using it in your own garden right away. When most people hear the word mulch, they picture bark chips or straw scattered loosely on the surface. While these coverings provide some benefit, they only skim the surface of what mulch can achieve. A thin blanket blocks weeds and slows evaporation, but when the heat intensifies, water still disappears quickly, and roots are left to struggle. The method that farmers of the past relied on was more than just a surface dressing. It was a system carefully built in layers to mimic the forest floor, where leaves, sticks, and fallen branches don't simply sit in one pile, but stack up in a way that creates air pockets, traps water, and slowly decomposes into humus. This approach doesn't just shield the soil, it changes it completely. During hard drought years, farmers gathered every scrap of organic matter available. Coarse stalks, sticks, leaves, weeds, straw, even kitchen scraps all found their place. Instead of tossing them randomly, they built layers, each with a specific role to play. The bottom layer was always coarse. Materials like corn stalks, sunflower stems, or small branches created tiny gaps of air that slowed evaporation. These air pockets acted as passageways for moisture, helping water seep down instead of running off the surface. Above that came softer materials such as grass clippings, dried weeds, or fallen leaves. These layers held on to water like sponges, keeping it available for days instead of hours. The top layer included finer matter that sealed in moisture and started the process of decomposition. As the weeks passed, the layers broke down into a dark, rich soil-like substance that gardeners now call humus. This living layer did more than keep roots alive in drought. It actively improved the ground year after year, feeding earthworms, stimulating microbial life, and giving plants a foundation that no store-bought fertilizer can match. The real genius of this system is that it solves multiple problems at once. Bare soil under hot sun can lose most of its moisture in just a single afternoon. Even when you water, much of it evaporates before roots can drink it in. A layered mulch acts as a shield, preventing the soil from overheating and locking in the water below. When heavy rains finally do come, the mulch slows the flow, allowing water to soak in rather than wash away. Even more impressive is how the mulch itself becomes a reservoir. The softened layers absorb and store water, then slowly release it into the soil over days. This means your crops enjoy a steady supply of moisture even when you're not out with the hose. Perhaps the most valuable change happens underground. As the organic layers decompose, they release carbon compounds that microbes feed on. These microbes create soil structures called aggregates, which act like little sponges that store both water and nutrients. Over time, the soil that was once hard and lifeless becomes dark, loose, and full of vitality. This is not just surviving drought, it is building a system that resists drought altogether. One of the best parts of this method is that it doesn't require anything fancy. Farmers of the past simply used whatever organic matter was available, and you can do the same. Coarse stalks and sticks form the base, soft green or brown matter fills the middle, and fine organic scraps top it off. Grass clippings, weeds, straw, corn stalks, sunflower stems, shredded leaves, and even kitchen scraps like vegetable peels or coffee grounds all find a place in the system. The key is balance. Too much coarse material and the mulch will not hold enough moisture. Too much fine matter and it mats together, blocking airflow. A mix of textures creates the perfect environment with airy layers below and sponge-like layers above. With time, what looks like a pile of scraps transforms into a protective skin that clings to the soil and slowly melts into it. Start by preparing the soil itself. If the ground is extremely dry, give it one deep watering before adding any mulch. This ensures that the base has enough moisture to sustain the initial breakdown. Lay down a bottom layer of coarse material such as corn stalks, sunflower stems, or sticks. This keeps the mulch lifted and provides channels for air and water. Next, add a layer of softer matter about 2 to 3 inches thick. Grass clippings, weeds, or fallen leaves work perfectly here. Lightly moisten this layer with about 1 to 2 gallons of water per square yard of bed, enough to dampen it without soaking. So, you'll want to repeat the process, alternating coarse and soft layers, and make sure to moisten each one lightly as you go. Aim for a total mulch depth of about 6 to 8 inches. This is thick enough to shield the soil and store water, but not so heavy that it suffocates the roots below. As the weeks pass, the bottom layers will actually begin to decompose first, feeding earthworms and microbes, while the upper layers keep on protecting the soil from heat and wind. By the end of the season, the mulch bed that started out as a pile of stalks and scraps will have transformed into a thick, spongy, nutrient-rich amendment that's just about ready to be worked back into the soil. You know, gardeners who bring this system back to life often see changes within just a single season. Plants that once wilted under the afternoon sun now stay upright and vigorous. Watering frequency drops dramatically, sometimes it's even cut in half. Soil that was once powder dry begins to smell rich and earthy, and earthworms return in abundance, tunneling through and leaving behind castings, which are nature's most potent fertilizer. The longer you stick with this method, the better the results, honestly. Over multiple seasons it can transform heavy clay into crumbly loam, or, sandy soil into something capable of holding moisture. It suppresses weeds, prevents erosion, and creates a living ecosystem beneath your feet. This is not a quick fix. It is a long-term solution that builds resilience into your garden year after year. With droughts becoming more common and water supplies increasingly precious, relying solely on irrigation is no longer sustainable. The beauty of this old mulch method is that it doesn't just solve the immediate problem of dryness, it creates healthier soil that can carry your crops through whatever the future brings. By mimicking nature's system of layering organic matter, you can build a garden that is less dependent on outside inputs and more capable of sustaining itself. If your soil has ever baked, cracked, or failed under the heat of summer, this forgotten technique might be the answer you've been looking for. It is simple, affordable, and proven over generations. And best of all, it produces results that only get stronger the longer you use it. So try it in your own beds this season. See how your plants respond when the soil beneath them is alive and resilient. And if this guide has been valuable to you, don't forget to subscribe to Soil and Crop Central and share it with fellow gardeners. Together we can keep these timeless practices alive and thriving in every garden.